Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of The Good, the Bad, and the Mike. I am joined with Oshin
How's it going?
and Keen.
Oh yeah,
So, guys, I guess we survived the pilot episode, which most great shows haven't done. It's good to be back.
touch and go there for a bit during the week. There was discussions of just leaving it there, but we powered through.
Possible creative differences at some points.
Yeah, I know. Speaking of creatives, see, we got a comment on our first video. I'll read it out to you, boys. From Sackboy15. Look, Goran Pandev is great, but the idea that you picked him over, I don't know, Cristiano fucking Ronaldo blows my mind. So, Keen, you want to take that?
Yeah, right. See, as I said, Ronaldo, or as Sackboy put it, Cristiano fucking Ronaldo is a great player, and I'm not denying that. I'm just saying is that he plays for a top tier team. Goran Pandev does not. And also, I did double check and watch his goal, and it is, to put it lightly, an open goal shot that I would score. But he was still there. He was in the position. He took his chance, and I respect that.
You got to be in those positions to score them. To
Yeah,
be fair.
yeah, exactly. Ball fell to him, wide open goal, but he was there. You know what I'm saying? Ronaldo wasn't there. Pandev was.
Ronaldo was in the wrong country. he never scored
People
that.
say Ronaldo struggles to score from anywhere other than the penalty spot. That's all I'm saying.
In fairness to you, Keen, I think he was the only one from the 2 weeks that actually, by default, didn't have a bad game or curse put on him. I don't think anyone we put on had a great game.
Yeah, one person I think definitely listened to last week's podcast had to have been Harry Kane. Man's been on fire since last week. He definitely heard our comments and took that to heart. I think that
is fair. Speaking of Harry Kane, England went on to go 4-0 winners and move on to the semi-final. What did you guys think?
I don't think it was ever really in doubt that they were going to beat Ukraine. I mean, we all hoped, but
yeah.
I don't think it was in any doubt. I'd be interested though. Denmark looked good, and I'd be interested to see how they handle that, especially if Denmark take the lead, given that they haven't conceded yet this tournament, let alone gonna go down. It'd be interesting to see how they react.
No, England looked very good. Now, I think them scoring the goal, in say 3 minutes, the first goal, I thought that was game over, and that England were just going to put 11 men behind the ball and just not concede. But to their credit, they came out, they were pressing high. Ukraine struggled to get the ball past them, but when they did, you look at kind of the second half of the first half, they had some chances. They were able to get the ball through them a couple of times. Like Pickford made, none of them really troubled Pickford too much. He made a couple of saves.
There was a couple.
But once that second goal went in, that was it.
There was a couple of times I thought Pickford didn't look comfortable though. Like there was one point where Ukraine were on a break and Pickford came well outside of his box to clear it and essentially just hit it straight up into the air, and then had to try and leg it back. And luckily for him, the Ukrainian, I can't remember who it was, took the shot and it bounced off a defender right in front of him. He got no height on the ball, but he just doesn't look comfortable a lot of the time, in my opinion.
No, but
I think there is kind of a misled information with Pickford that I don't think he's been tested at all this entire Euros. I can't think of any time
amount, no.
They've been under deep pressure. He has the odd shots, and as we said, those shots he doesn't look comfortable making the saves.
No, I think Ukraine had one proper chance when, who was it, Maguire? Yeah. Someone had an errant back pass.
Yeah.
But it was still a tight angle shot and it was right at Pickford.
Yeah.
He still made the save, but that was I think the best opportunity that they had. But lads, I've got it. You've heard it here first. England are going to lose 1-0, and it's going to be Thomas Delaney to score it. How amazing would that be?
The hero.
I'll be alright with that.
This is why he chose Denmark over Ireland. It's not because he was born there. It's not because he was raised there. It's because he knew
one day
his job.
This was his job.
one day
that's
his
actually a great
opportunity
shout.
would come.
There have been some great games over the last week of football. Some fantastic games. Any highlights from those games from any of you?
I loved every single penalty shootout. I'll be honest. I love a good penalty shootout. You can't beat
Yes.
them, in my opinion.
I wasn't
Fair,
there,
I mean-
but I did hear you were fuming with Ukraine when they scored.
Oh, I was
Last minute.
absolutely raging. I was 100% set for penalties. Sweden were holding out. We were so close. We were so close to greatness. And Artem Dovbyk with his 121st minute goal. Absolute scumbag.
Yeah, like I love a good penalty shootout, but I don't know. It's just I like a good penalty shootout. Switzerland just couldn't kick a ball in that penalty shootout. Like a lot of their misses were just really bad. Like obviously penalty is a super high pressure situation, particularly in the knockout stages of a European Championships. But a lot of them were just passing the ball into the net,
I
and that
wonder.
was just
I wonder if there is a case now, because obviously they did go to a penalties against France a few days before, that it was in their mind, hang on, Simon knew where they were taking the penalties and they were thinking to themselves, do I change my lineup? Because I think it was the second Swiss guy, he did a stutter run up the second time round when
he
he
did,
ran.
yeah.
Yeah,
He definitely
when
tried
he
to
had a
overthink
nice.
that.
So was that? Do you think that was a case?
I think
that
that
they-
definitely played a part in it. I think also the fact that that was their second game in a row that they had to play the full 120 minutes before
Yeah.
going to penalties. So I'd say they were exhausted. But I think you're right that they definitely did try to overthink. I mean, Akanji is just the perfect example that he tried to
Yeah.
overthink his penalty, and it just didn't work.
Yeah. Like to be fair, right? I don't think any of the quarterfinals were boring games. They all had stuff. Like I'm sorry, Oshin, but I've lost a lot of respect for Giro Immobile after his horrendous display of faking an injury last night. I just can't get behind that. I was a fan, but after that shocking display, I don't think I can trust him anymore. I think I've even cut him from my fantasy team. That's I just can't trust that. I can't reward that.
Yes, 'cause he's the
Oh.
only player to have ever done anything like that.
It's just the fact he didn't stick it. He was so aware of what he did. He's like, the goal went in, and you could see him look and go, "Oh, lads, we scored. Fucking get on!" And like,
But could there
no,
could
just
there be a
pretend.
case?
fair play to him.
Yeah, could there be a case that it was the adrenaline shot up with your escalation that they went 1-0 up? Could that be a thing?
I
I
mean,
mean,
Have
yeah,
you
but
forgot
then that
about
would
the pain?
eventually go away.
yeah, you could make that argument, but I think you'd be dead wrong.
So what we've found out here is Oshin is all in favor of cheating. Moving
No,
on.
no,
So
no.
Yeah, we'll leave it there. You heard it here, folks. Folks. Ocean likes cheating.
yeah,
That
the
game,
wood,
though, that game was a fantastic game. The
Yeah.
Italy-Belgium
No,
one.
it-
I mean,
it
City's
was.
goal was absolutely incredible.
yeah, I think I've found was it. Yeah, it was the earlier game today. Czech Republic, Denmark.
Good old Czech Park.
Good old
Yeah,
Czech
Czech
Park.
Park.
Czech Park game. I think was it the second Denmark goal may have had one of the best assists I've ever seen in my
Off,
life.
Mal or whatever. his
Mail?
name is.
Yes.
Mahele?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I
yes.
have no idea how to pronounce his name.
I think it's Mail.
Maui, was it? No. Something.
Did you
We
say
are
Maori?
butchering
Anyway,
this, and we
completely.
apologize.
It's like Hoiberg all over again. But because I was watching it live and I was like, oh yeah, that was nice. And then when they slowed it down and I really watched it and I realized it was with the inside of his right foot. And I don't even think he meant to hit the guy at the back post. It just fell so perfectly to him.
Yes.
It was exquisite.
We got some mouth-watering semi-finals. Italy, Spain. What are we thinking?
I think it's hard to see anyone beating Italy at the moment.
Yeah.
They can. They're a good team. They showed against Belgium that they can see out a match. I just think it's very hard to see anyone beating them at the moment.
I wouldn't be
yeah.
surprised. Just Spain, I just don't know what it is. I think they can't score, and then they'll score 5 goals. You just don't know what Spain's going to show.
Yeah,
Or
they have
what
been
Morata.
very kind of.
Morata
What was
is due a great game where he scores 3 goals to remind everyone he's still a top striker.
Was it them that was 3 up or 3 down against Croatia that threw away the lead?
3-1 up, I believe, against
3-1 up,
Croatia.
and then you go back to 3-3 to lose 5-3. Like that's just
they won 5-3.
Sorry, 1, yes.
Yes.
Apologies. Like, yeah. I think I want Italy to win because I think they have a better chance of beating England if they make the final.
That's fair.
But like I don't know.
I think Denmark will give them a run for their money, though.
I think Denmark will be.
This
will be the first test of This will be the first test I think for England of a team attacking wise. I think in a while. I know Scotland gave them a good go at it, and they went all in on it. But just couldn't get the goal they needed.
They obviously they had the game against Germany, who in the end didn't provide too much. Like they kind of went past them fairly easily, which did frighten me a little bit. But
Germany were poor.
Yeah. Because like honestly, watching England today, that they're granted Ukraine, like they're a solid team, but England, like they are hard to break down. Like Ukraine did it a few times, but the English defense is very solid.
Germany were poor, but they did create a couple of chances. Thomas Müller had one at 1-0 that he should have absolutely buried.
Should have buried that
completely. And I just, you would think that if they keep giving away chances like that, eventually they're going to concede. But it's all down to whether or not Denmark can create those chances.
Yeah, I agree with you there. So, okay, guys, moving on to news. Any of you have any interesting news you'd like to bring up?
Yeah, I've got one piece, I think, just one thing that I've been following very closely for the last few years. Something that I'd say most people knew is on the horizon, because it has been slowly becoming in over the last few years, is the changing of the NCAA's rules for the student athletes now. They own their image rights, that they can sell their NIL, their name, image, and likeness, to actually make money. Now they still can't, quote unquote, get paid to attend college, but it just means that they aren't starving anymore, because there's a ton of NCAA Division I athletes who, the colleges and the actual NCAA are making millions, quote unquote, billions off of, and yet a lot of them can't afford to feed themselves a lot of the time, or having trouble with rent. So it just means that if they are a top quality athlete, that like anyone else in any other sport now, that they can make money off of their own image essentially, which I think is great. I think it's a huge step forward.
Yeah, I think so too. It's always been a heated debate for the last few years anyway, and it's good to finally get that resolved.
Because like I was reading some interesting things on it. There is now really nothing to stop kind of some booster, someone who really likes a college, and if they own a business, from, we're using air quotes here, endorsing athletes for ludicrous sums of money just to entice them to a college. That could essentially come into play, that they're essentially getting paid. But I think it's a step in the right direction, because that's only going to affect a small, maybe handful of sports.
As long as they don't do an Odell and get caught giving money down on the field.
Odell was sponsoring them, okay? They were getting behind his brand. He was sponsoring them. That's all it was.
That's it.
I'm sure, though, given that this is just like new, that if things like that were to happen going forward, they would essentially start to bring in regulations and rules around it to but that they can still, it's an awkward one, but I think that they would look at that going forward if it became a big enough problem. As opposed to
it could be, which like it's a hard thing to regulate, because like, if they put them on a few banners for their company, then like who say they can't pay them $300,000 a year to do that, essentially.
Yeah.
I think it's better for the NCAA, because they might lose a bit of money in sponsorships, but it means that they can hold on to a lot of their top stars for longer, that there'd be less pressure on the top players to go pro quicker, if they can earn a living and support their families while they're still at college, which is just good for the NCAA, I think.
A quick update from a news I broke last week. Cyclists everywhere can rejoice. They no longer have to live in fear. The girl from the Tour de France has been caught. She has turned herself in, and it is yet to see what the charges will be brought against her.
Reports of her fleeing the country were apparently incorrect. I'm pretty sure she spread those rumors herself. That's just a smart thing.
I don't blame her.
Yes.
No.
I did also see reports that the Tour de France themselves they changed their mind and they're not going to sue. But I believe that the cyclists themselves possibly could make it clear.
Oh, yeah.
Was it 1 or 2? Their race was done. They were out.
Yeah.
Because of the injuries they couldn't
without
do.
a doubt, without a doubt. Like those incidents can be, because they're traveling so fast.
Yeah.
That they're horrific. Like, that's the thing about cycling in a peloton. You need to have so much trust with everyone in there, because if one of them goes down, they're basically all going down.
Yeah. It's just, I still can't get over it. Like, I've seen the video 100 times. I just can't believe.
So bad.
She's just holding an
bad.
innocent sign saying, go say hi to grandparents. And that's what causes the biggest crash in Tour de France history. She's not even looking.
The lack of spatial awareness that's involved.
It's just, you gotta keep your head on a swivel, you know? You can't be focused on you gotta be over and back, you know what I mean? Like, it's just shocking.
Very poor, alright.
Anyone have any other news, or shall I move on?
I think we're good on that. I think I'm okay.
Okay, so when we go to football match, football chants are synonymous at going to part of the stadium atmosphere and all. And I thought it'd be nice if we discuss some of our chants that we've heard or just stick in our heads. So does anyone want to start us off?
I'll get out there. I love chants that have a back and forth. The main one being, what do you think? Spurs, shit. What do you think? Shit. Love those back and forth ones. I'm in there all day. I rate that one very highly.
That is a great one, to be fair. I did enjoy. I think one of the first ones I remember as a kid is Fernando Torres when he was at Liverpool. Was a fantastic chant. It always sticks in my head. I think it was the first chant I ever learned. It was on was it the Nike ad it was on as well when he was there?
I think he was at Nike, yeah.
Na 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 Torres. I thought that was it's one of my favorites, and it was, I'm not gonna lie, one of the main reasons I was upset with Fernando leaving was that, because I was like, I just learned this chant and now I can't sing it anymore. What am I supposed to do now?
I have a bit of an admission to make on that topic, where I was watching the Spain game.
Yeah.
And they kept mentioning Torres, and I seen F Torres, and I was like, no, surely he's 40. Like, no way, a chance he's still playing. And they kept, I didn't get a good look at him, and they kept just saying Torres, and then eventually they said, was it Ferran Torres?
Ferran Torres.
I was like, there's not a chance he's still playing, because he must be in his 40s right now. But there was a good 10, 15 minutes where I was thinking, maybe he got his shit together after he joined Chelsea. I don't know.
He's 37. By the way, he's not in.
I thought he was older. That's actually not bad.
He's looking good now. Have you seen photos of him? He's shredded.
He's looking good. He did retire, but then he made a post shortly afterwards that said he was going to come back. But actually, I don't know if I don't think he has.
Jesus, he's huge.
Yeah.
He's massive now.
Absolutely shredded. Japan did him wonders.
Sticking him up there, he'd do a job for you now. He's lost the speed, but he'd be able to just back down some fellas and just bully his way in.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Rashid, any chance come to mind with you?
Another Liverpool one. Peter
Surprise.
Crouch. An absolute classic. He's big, he's red, his feet stick out of bed. He's Peter Crouch.
I do love
fantastic chant that I will absolutely never forget.
There was a thing, right? I'm trying to work this out. I would say it's somewhere in the region 2005. Maybe later, say somewhere around 2007. I had a poster on my wall that it was like a Premier League poster, had bits on all the teams. Maybe had fixtures, I don't know. But one of the sections for every team was popular slogan. I also had like facts on like managers and stuff, but some of the slogans, some of the terrible ones stuck with me. And I think it was the Tottenham one when they had Pascal Sigan back in the day. Their own fans chant for him was he's bald, he's shit, he gets a game when no one's fit, Pascal Sigan. That's always stuck with me.
That's good. I think my most memorable chant, and I'll never forget it. I'm pretty sure we were at a football tour, and I think it was Arsenal against, I want to say Aston Villa, but Eduardo was playing for Arsenal, and this is maybe a few games back from his horrific leg break. And I'll never forget it. The Aston Villa fans started singing when he got the ball. Do you remember that song, What's That Coming Over the Hill?
Oh.
I can't remember who the band sang, but it was, what's that coming out of your sock? Is it your ankle? Is it your ankle?
That's horrible.
I was like, this is amazing. But I do enjoy chants that fans sing of opposition players.
Yes. Yeah.
Another one that sticks out was, I was at a Liverpool game against Fulham, and Zamora had a shot. It blazed over, and the cop men started singing, when the ball hits your head and you're up in Rosette, that's Zamora.
Oh, that's top quality right there. That's it.
Anyone else?
Oh, I'm trying to think about it. Obviously, this one here. I assume soccer fans sang it as well. That's not how I know this. But a very, very strong fixture of Ocean, you might be too young to have experienced this. Of my first year in college was after a night out, on Hardcore Street in Dublin. After a good night out, 3 or 4 a.m., there'd be probably a group every night. Group of 100 lads doing the Touré chant.
Yes.
Oh, the Touré chant.
Oh my
Drunk
God.
Touré chants, it's a banger. And,
Absolute banger. But they were dangerous scene skiing. I remember these nights.
Very dangerous. But when you're like 19, first year of college, had too many pints.
Yeah.
Great memories.
Yeah.
They are that's an incredible chant.
Golo. Just bringing back the memories. Like, God damn it, that was all the rage.
One of the benefits of signing Colo Torre was being able to use that chant.
That's very, very fair. Yeah. Or this might be the most overused chant. The original ones, 1 or 2 were fire, and then I've seen this used in probably 6 or 7 different sports. In varying degrees of success. Most terrible. The Will Griggs on fire. Your defense is terrified. That has been done to death by everyone.
We did adopt it with Shane Long. We will.
Yeah, well, we did. That wasn't as bad as them adopting it at Wimbledon for Andy Murray a couple of years back.
Oof.
That one didn't go so well.
No.
I assume they just put in Murray. Andy Murray's on fire doesn't fit.
It's just Murray. Yeah, it was just Murray's on fire. No, center court is terrified. That's what it was. Murray's on fire. Center court is terrified.
He wasn't playing on center court.
He is. He's Andy Murray. He's the British number 1.
Well, I do know some things about tennis, but I don't know how they choose their court.
Okay.
What if
I assume the British number 1 always plays.
Was waterlogged and they had to.
It's okay. It's okay, actually, when we do the tennis segment, we'll make sure to mute your mic, and we'll let you know when we're done.
I was recording this.
I assume that they didn't sing it unless he was... I doubt there's very many games in Andy Murray's career that he has done not on centre court.
Left from centre court is terrified.
Court number 16 is terrified. Murray's on fire.
That's another one. I remember living in Greystones, I used to go to all the Bray Wanderers game. And Bray, when times I used to go to the games, we're always in a relegation fight when we were there. So naturally, whenever we scored a goal, we were always singing the same, "We are staying up." Said, "We are staying up." That was another great chant.
That is, yeah, very, very usable. That one, not bad. Bit of a classic.
The last one I'll have mentioned is it's not really a chant, but it's more of an anthem. But I sing it, and it's very catchy. Is Three Lads on the Shirt is as much as I hate it, is a cracking anthem to sing.
Mike.
I know, I hate it. I hate that I like it. But it's great.
All right, so from now on, the podcast is just the good and the bad. I'm kicking my.
More creative differences.
It's coming home, boys. It's coming home.
You're from Singapore.
My dad's English, so it's coming home.
Is
I
he?
will claim this. Yeah,
I should never do that.
I know this might sound. I don't know if you've noticed that my great granddad did play for England, and
So how's your granddad then?
my
lived in
granddad's
Shankill?
English. My granddad's English, but my mom's Irish. My nan is Irish.
All right, we could sort through this whole mess another whole time.
We'll discuss this off air.
Next week, Mike's family tree and why he's a West Brit.
Who do you think you are? The good, the bad, and the Mike edition.
Show me your roots. Ancestral roots.
Oh, my laptop's about to die. Where's my charger?
Oh my god. We are clearly prepared for this, as you can see.
I had one more chant that actually has become a lot more topical now after that. It's the from a Scotland and
Right, we're
Wales
good.
game
We're good.
a few years ago. I actually don't know when it was from, but the Scottish fans started chanting at the Wales fans, "We hate England more than you," and it's a cracker.
That was one of the BBC ran an ad campaign for the Six Nations about 5 years ago that they had to pull because it just started with a a picture of all the different fan bases except for England, and it just had them all saying England, and then the caption at the end was, "Sometimes it's who you hate that unites you." And so many English people complained they pulled it.
That's an incredible ad campaign, though.
It's
dead
phenomenal.
on.
I thought it was amazing.
It's absolutely spot on.
Alright, guys. I think that's enough to chance. Moving on to our one thing we actually researched.
Your shit, and you know you are yours. Sorry.
So, dirtiest players in football. Oshie,
Yes.
do you want to go and lead us off on this one? And take the one I think we are all going to use.
We're looking at
Take
this.
that low-hanging fruit, Oshie, and put it in your
I
basket.
will take that low-hanging fruit. You don't need to ask me twice. If we're looking at stats, Gerardo Bedoya, former Colombian international, was sent off 46 times in his career, which is just insane. And then was sent off in his first game as manager as well.
Oh my god.
Didn't
Just
actually
true.
know that. That's
Yeah,
actually
there you go.
the one thing
keep
that
it rolling.
shocked me about that is the fact that he has 46 red cards. I was like, that's fair, but Ramos is second with 34. That's a big jump.
It's
that's-
huge.
It's in that when you put it to that like Ramos, he likes to get stuck in, and the fact that this lad has 12 more red cards than him is a very impressive.
To be fair to Ramos, I think he's reined it in a bit in the last few years. I can remember. I don't remember him that much getting sent off
Yeah,
in the
fair.
last few years compared
fair.
to his younger career, where him and Pepe were just dominating.
He's matured.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Yes.
I'd like to believe that. But
I
I'm just
still
not too
haven't
sure.
forgiven him for what he did to Salah.
That's very fair. I mean, spanning a 20-year career, that's one way to get up the red cards, but he must have been some player to keep getting contracts after getting all the red cards. Like, he must have been solid. Like,
That's it. He had a great agent that made sure there was no deductibles and red cards on his
Yeah.
contracts.
yeah.
There was no outs.
It was like, the ice hockey, he was the enforcer. The manager just gave him a number every game. It's like, you injured this man.
And as Ushi knows, we don't celebrate injuries.
No, why
Damn
would we?
right. Some of
Unless
us
it's
don't.
Chiro Immobile and he's putting on a show in the box. That's the only acceptable form.
Keen, Your player,
Yes.
other than the one Oshida has mentioned, and we've all had.
So this was a story I heard about 10 years ago. And I spent about 20 minutes trying to get the details of it because it was very hard to find. I just knew it existed. So this is all the reports are from 2010. Some say it was in March 2010, but they have another March 2010 saying it happened in 2009. So I don't know when this happened. 09, 010, somewhere in there. But a player called Mark Chapman, not the guy who works for the BBC, different Mark Chapman, 20 at the time. He was the first footballer to be jailed for a tackle as he broke another player's leg. He snapped the tibia and fibia and got a 6-month 6-month jail term for a tackle.
Jesus.
Now he wasn't the first player to go to jail as the result of an on-field antic because of a few people have for punches and stuff, but he was the first for a tackle.
Go hard or go home.
Ah, exactly.
Yeah.
This right. This is why this took me so long to find it. I had the name Terry John stuck in my head. I knew this was related somehow. The guy he injured was Terry Johnson. Now, obviously, when you stick Terry John football into any web search, you get John Terry. It refuses to accept anything else. So I spent so long trying to find this because I couldn't remember anything aside from John Terry and broken leg and jail. So I would argue he might be the dirtiest player of all time, as he, I assume, served some length of time. I couldn't get any follow-ups, so I don't know if he did serve time, but he was given a 6-month sentence of some form or another.
That is interesting.
That was...
So, the guy I went for, straight off the bat, is I went Joey Barton.
Wait.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, Mike?
Well, that you said, wait, what's up, dude?
Is this the only person that you want to...
No,
okay,
this isn't the one.
Okay, go on. Right,
Joey
okay.
Barton. I'll bring him up later.
Yes, Mike, tell it.
So, Joey Barton, he has 5 red cards in the Premier League. The record is 6.
In a season?
No. All time.
All time? Oh my god.
Yeah,
fair,
which is quite low.
I would...
You'd think.
Who holds the record?
But,
I know...
Duncan Ferguson with 6.
No, but it's either Roy Keane or Richard Dunn is
Roy
also
Keane
tied
is
for
on
the
5.
record.
Roy Keane's
Oh,
also on 5.
I knew that. Okay, I knew one was up there.
Paul Konchesky is also on 5.
What a man.
But Joey Barton, from what I was looking up, of his 5 red cards, only one of them were 2 yellows.
He was a bit of a lunatic, to be fair.
He was. I never got the appeal of Joey Barton. Everyone said he was. I was looking, I was like, Cap's a loose cannon. You don't know what you're going to get with him. And I think that best is described in that famous City QPR game when he lost the plot.
Yes.
And it was later. And it was later said when he elbowed Aguero, he was like, "Oh, I tried to get as many people sent off as."
That was the
with
last
me.
day of the season, wasn't it? And he was
Yeah.
trying to egg them on. That's right. I forgot about that part.
That's a classic.
It really, really is. Yeah,
Was
he was mental.
Was he also the player that shoved Mendes into the billboard and knocked him unconscious? I'm not 100% sure. I think that was him.
Sure.
No idea.
I won't give him that credit then if I'm not sure. I know this part of like he just knocked him out. But I think so. Interesting enough, when I went looking at the Dirtiest player, Duncan Ferguson's on 6 holds records. 2 of those were 2 yellows. Roy Keane's on 5. 2 of those red cards incidences were 2 yellows. Richard Dunn's up there.
That Roy
with
Keane
4.
was just misunderstood.
He put in a hard challenge.
He did. There's nothing malicious though. Man just cared a lot. You know what I mean?
A little bit of malicious in it, I think. I think it's safe to say there was a bit of malice in him.
Tinge. He was just hurt. The man played with heart, you know what I mean?
Keane, do you want to go to your next one?
Yes. This one is... This is just an interesting one. And I think a bit of might be a candidate for least intelligent football player of all time. And that is Joseph Simic. Croatian player. Not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. In the 2006 World Cup against Australia, Graham Poe gave that man
Yes.
2 yellow cards with 0 red cards. And surely at that point, if you think, oh, I've gotten away with this, you don't go ahead and get a third one. It isn't like he gave me a freebie to go and hit somebody else. Surely the thought process is, right, I gotten away with one. Let's calm down a bit. Not, I should have been sent off anyway. Let's just get that out of the way. Like, that just, I don't know, boggles my mind how he went for that.
Another great English refereeing moment on the world stage.
Yeah, oh, yeah. 100%.
I wouldn't say it's the dirtiest because we're basing this on one game here now, Keen.
That's very, very fair.
Did he do it multiple times?
I think he must be the only player, at least at high level football, to have gotten 3 yellows in the one match.
I'll put this in as the Goran.
Yeah,
This is your Goran Pandev moment.
I
of
feel like
this
I have
week's episode.
a little bit. Like I'm just, thought experiments. What is considered a dirty player? Someone who gets a red card and a half in the one game. That's impressive.
That is impressive.
Or, all right. Let me just put this to you two. See how you feel about this. Luis Suarez.
Yeah.
How many people did he bite? 1 or 2?
2, I believe.
3?
3.
Was it
3. Ajax, 2 at Liverpool.
Yeah, man. I think that's
one at Liverpool. Yeah, he was one for Italy. One for Italy. There was Chiellini when he was at Italy.
It was the Italian one.
Yeah. Then there was Ivanovic. And then there was the one before he joined us with Ajax.
Yes.
So 3. Man has bitten 3 players. That shit's dirty.
Yeah.
Let's not
as
forget
much
that
as I
time
want
his handball in the World Cup.
I have no problem with that one. I have no problem with that.
It's still
We'd all would have done that. Yeah. It's the rules, but we all would have done it. It's also the rules to when your man's one-on-one to go, you don't go hit him from the back, clip his ankles, and take the red card. It's against the rules to hit him, but we do it anyway.
Did you see that the French had a petition to retake or replay the game that they lost to Switzerland? They had like a petition with like 30,000 people signed, saying that the refs got the decision wrong when they got it right.
Yeah, I watched it. I was like, because I went second, but did I go? There was nothing. He was fine for that penalty.
He was fine. Like a lot of people were pointing out the sweet, sweet irony of what happened to us, and
the petition.
Yes,
make us the 33rd team in the World Cup.
So it's like that meme of The Simpsons where Lisa's got the glass, and it's like, it's like me enjoying all the French tears. It's like yous are hard done by a ref getting a decision correct. Funny.
Have you heard the news from what's going on with that French team? Oh,
like
infighting. Yeah.
Really?
Infighting. Rabiot's mom is fighting Mbappe's mom.
Yeah,
the moms are getting involved.
She is a
soccer moms.
She's his agent as well, and she
the
has
momager?
a history
Yes.
from his time at PSG and his time at Juventus. I did read during the week that there's an anecdote about during Rabiot's first season at PSG, they wouldn't let her join him on a trip to Tenerife or something, and she came into PSG's offices and sat down outside Carlo Ancelotti's office waiting for him to come in so that she could tell him exactly what she thought of that.
Oh my god. The Karens of football.
Yeah,
it's all coming out now.
Yeah, she's got a reputation.
Yeah, that from what I've heard, it's no surprise on how poor the French team did at this tournament. What do you think Deschamps keeps his job after this?
I think he's already announced that he's staying until
Has
at least after the World Cup. I believe so.
Will be interesting.
I mean, the French team are always infighting. Was it the last World Cup or the one before that where like they just went full Saipan 2002? Where like Patrice Evra didn't they lead like a revolt?
No, that was 2000. That was 2010. There was the revolt.
Was that long ago?
Yeah, I thought you were referring to the Benzema Valbuena incident.
I don't even know what that is.
The blackmailing. It was the blackmailing.
Who blackmailed? What?
Have you never heard of this
I
story?
may have heard it at the time, but I don't remember it.
Machine, you want to take the lead on this one?
Work away, you're the host.
I'll let you take it. I'll delegate this one to you. Thanks,
No.
Megan's listening.
No. I actually
All right,
don't know
Keith,
it well
just
enough.
All
yeah,
right,
Keith, we'll just let you Google this one.
I'm gonna Google it. Who's the players again involved?
Balbuena and Benzema.
Okay, I'm gonna look into this. This is fascinating.
But yeah, the French has always been. There's always something going on with them internally.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's a bit of a shame.
Okay, well, Keen's googling this, that.
But not
I'll
Googling
lead on
now.
to the-
I might look at
Yes.
it at some point
Okay,
during the
here's the one now I've had when we first discussed this. This was the first person to come to my mind. The dirtiest person in football, without a doubt, has to be Joachim Löw for Germany.
definition of dirty. Very fair. Very,
Yes,
very fair.
fine. The definition of
No,
dirty.
I'm not. You said earlier that I would say that that's fair and I would understand. And no, I've decided no. I'm not allowing this
So,
one.
so you're saying he's not dirty?
No, I'm not allowing this one in the context of...
He is Christina Aguilera dirty, not
I'm not...
Roy Keane dirty.
Yeah, I'm not allowing it in the context of this segment.
I really hope she's the one who sang that.
Right. Well, I have a whole spiel here. If you're not,
Go on,
allowed-
go
no,
for it,
work
go for it.
work
No,
away,
no.
but just
All right,
know
all right,
that
hang
I
on,
disapprove.
hang on. Undo. This is the Goran Pandev this week.
Oh,
no,
100%.
no way is this
Yes.
the
This
Goran.
100% is the Goran Pandev.
Sorry,
You've
I'm
different,
taking this
you've different
literally.
definitions of dirty.
I have taken literal definition of the. For those who don't know, Joachim Löw is the current German coach of the national team and has,
Well,
on countless occasions, been caught putting his hand down his pants, giving it a good old sniff on the camera,
Those
picking
nose
his
scratch and
nose.
sniff.
Yeah, picking
There
his
it is.
nose and eating the contents of what comes out. The chap is just a dirty human being. And
so
I will
what's your
stand
spiel?
by.
Yeah, let's hear your
that was pretty
convince
much
us.
the whole spiel.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Come on.
Sorry, hold on. You telling me that putting your hand down there and giving it a good sniff is not dirty? What
Are you
more do I
saying-
have to say
Not
then?
Are
in
you
the
saying that that's
context
dirtier
that
than
this segment
biting
is
3 people?
intended.
Well, yeah, I think it's dirty. At least I know the biter. I know my ground. He's not. I would say, ah, that's a dirty bastard. This guy is literal dirt.
Mike.
The worst thing about this is that you're the one who came up with this segment.
Yeah, his first thing that came to mind when I came up with this, and I will stand by it.
So,
You can never give me shit for anything I say on this podcast ever
I
again.
will, and I will constantly listen to Mike Hughes, and it's why I'm no longer the good or the bad. I'm just Mike.
the listeners get to listen live to the last time Mike is ever allowed to cite a
Yep.
segment.
I
We'll
will
have
not
to-
be silenced.
We'll have to check
Really good
all of all of Mike's answers going forward.
Predetermined.
Okay,
In fairness-
this does make a lot more sense when before the show, Mike said, "All right, I have a player. Well, I don't really know if he's a player. I need to check if he has played at some point." And then Mike
Technically,
goes,
he
"Oh,
has.
he has played. Yeah, that's fair." So when you brought up, I only thought you'd one person. So when you said Joey Barton,
Joey Barton, no.
I was like,
Yeah, I was
"Yes,
so
he's played."
confused.
Yes. I was like, did you need
Yeah,
to
nah,
check
it was
that?
Joachim Löw. Speaking of Joachim Löw, I'll move on from this whole debate of whether he's dirty or not.
Well,
There is an argument I heard, interesting. Has he tarnished his German career with the last few years being poor? What do you make of that?
Possibly. Yeah, it's a weird one.
let me think. Did they? How
They
did they
won-
do? Did they win in Brazil?
Yeah, they won
Yeah.
in 2014 with Brazil,
Yeah.
in Brazil. But then from then on, they have made the major tournaments, but
Haven't made a
eliminated in the group
final.
stages in Russia.
They were so good for what felt like so long. But the thing
Mm.
is, with international football, is that you just never really have those extended periods of
Yeah.
dominance.
Is
So
it a
you say
case
that, but
that
Spain dominated for what, like a decade? Near a
yeah,
decade?
but as we talk now, they don't look the same as they did
No, like it,
10 years.
it tarnishes it a bit, but I'd still put him down
Is
as a
it
very
the case that
successful
he
manager.
just got lucky when he took over from Jurgen Klinsmann? Was it 2006 he took over just as that new crop of Germans We're coming out the likes of Muller,
Ballack and all them. Yeah, maybe a bit,
Ozil,
but
and that he got them, and then he just hasn't been able to replace them in the squad.
I mean,
They don't have a bad squad.
yeah.
The phenomenal squad when you look at it.
Honestly, right, putting this down, the scratch and sniffs tarnish his reputation a lot more than the play.
But does that not add to the legend of Joachim Low?
No.
That's what he'll be remembered for, not his World Cup
100%.
win.
It's but not in a good way. Like,
Yeah.
there's nobody like God. Remember that Joachim Low? Mad, like that's just no, like it's a
I
negative
like to
thing.
think he has a publicist that tells him, remember, you're on camera. Do it after the game. Just don't do it. Just like,
Do you
oh
think-
my god.
Do you think it's one of those things? It's like not like a tick for him, but it's one of those things he does when he's just concentrating. You know that it gives him the inspiration.
He's distracted, and it's just when some people stare off into space, he scratches his face.
I will. He will be missed on the international scene. He's been one of those that's just been around for so long.
This is one of the fun parts of not really following football. I noticed this not in today's game, in the last Ukraine game, but Shevchenko is their manager. That was mind blowing for me.
The man hasn't. Every time I see him, I think 2005, and the man hasn't aged a day.
Oh, he has not aged a second.
He's looking well.
He's in the Paul Rudd club of timeless men.
I hear he's planning to move. I heard. I think he's trying. I think he said he's leaving the Ukraine job and he wants to do some managing in Italy.
Really?
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Do you know where he managed before this? I'm genuinely curious. I'm gonna look this up.
I'm looking up right now, actually.
Because this was quite shocking to me.
No, it was just Ukraine. He
I
was
mean,
assistant manager for a while, and then became their actual manager in 2016.
Yes.
I think that this would have been, if you were going to aim to manage in Italy, this would have been the season to do it. There was so many managerial move-abouts.
And we go to our Serie A correspondent, Ushi.
No, this isn't just a Serie A thing. It's like it's a top 5 leagues thing. Like there's
really
a ton of moves in the Bundesliga, which I think was kind of brought on by Low leaving Germany, being taken. I think Nagelsmann went, so that freed up Leipzig, and then they took someone else from Bundesliga, which freed up. Is that a couple of that?
The domino effect.
Fair.
A couple of changes in Spain and Italy as well. So it was a lot of move arounds this season.
No, that's fair play to him. I always liked him, which was annoying when he signed for Chelsea, even though he didn't do great. I was a fan of Shevchenko.
Speaking of managerial move-alongs, as we covered last week, we covered Rafa has officially joined Everton. But
the surprise release was not accurate.
That's it. Tottenham going for Nuno. What do you make of that?
I have a question.
Yes.
Who is that?
Yes.
He was the Wolves
Espirito
manager.
Santos.
Oh, okay. Is he bringing the country of Portugal with him?
I mean,
It'll be
probably,
interesting to see.
that's what he
Probably.
does.
Odds have been slashed on Ronaldo going to Tottenham at some point.
I think Spurs became a bit of a joke during that.
Mass,
search
they
for
were
a
a
new
big
manager.
meme.
But like
Big meme lately.
especially during that search for a new manager, because it seemed every few days they were like, oh yeah, they're going for this kind of. Oh yeah, no, he's turned them down. They're going for someone else now. Oh yeah, no, he's turned them down as well.
Yes.
Yeah, like it got so bad. There was so many memes of. Is it Daniel Levy's their chairman? Isn't he?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like photos of him reacting to the news that Matt Hancock had been sacked as an MP or whatever happened there. Like Daniel Levy's like, ooh, interesting.
I did hear that.
I think Santos is a good manager though.
I think he was great, and I thought Wolves were a bit presumptuous to get rid of him after they say a poor season. But when you look at what happened to Wolves, what was it? They let Jota went on a transfer. Jimenez has the injury.
Jota wasn't a main starter for them, I believe, before.
But
his
with
transfer
Jimenez
to-
being injured as well, when you lose 2 players, that
Wait,
probably
is that who he plays for?
he did
Is this
play for.
Diogo Jota?
He did play for
Who's he
Wolves.
play for
We
now?
signed him.
Well, he's a
Liverpool.
player now.
I was thinking, yeah, okay, that makes sense. Okay. Sorry.
That's alright.
It will be interesting. Like he did bring them to, was it a quarterfinals of the Europa League?
I'm
Not
100%,
last year.
but they have had some fantastic seasons recently. It would be interesting to see what he can do at Spurs, especially if they do lose Harry Kane.
Speaking of the Hurricane, did you hear that they said it's up to Nuno now whether they'll allow him to leave or not?
That's a really shit position to be put in as a new
Yeah.
manager, I think.
Yeah.
Do you
I mean-
force a player to stay at a team he doesn't want to be at, or do you let your star player go as the first thing you do when you're in the door?
That's true.
Yeah, I
Possibly
like
turn
that.
the supporters against you.
Power
Having
move.
said that though, it works in his hand if he does go for like 120 million or so. He could probably think I could bring in a good few Portuguese players with that
yeah,
kind of
that's
money.
like that's so many Portuguese players. They're cheap. I like it. It's kind of like that thing. It's like to get the respect of the rest of the team, he has to fire somebody. I think that's the power play.
That's
Day
it.
one.
Prison rule.
Yeah.
Prison rules. Take out the biggest, strongest guy there.
Yeah. Then they'll respect him. What? What is this stuff I'm hearing about Messi? Is he leaving Barcelona? Or is that all memes?
No,
It looks like his contract is officially over.
but he'll probably
But
sign a new one.
They're looking at re-signing a new
Oh,
one.
so he is technically a free agent, but will
Yes.
probably sign
Yeah.
with Barcelona
Their
and
issue
not
was
MK
that I think
Dons.
they were having trouble. They're having some financial difficulties, and they wanted, from what I read, they wanted to pay him over. It was a 2-year contract, but they wanted to pay it over 5 years. And La Liga were like, no, that's clearly against the rules. You can't do that.
No Bobby Bonilla money. Speaking of which, 2 days ago was Bobby Bonilla Day.
Oh, Bobby Bonilla Day.
Guy
What a
gets
great
paid
day.
1.5 million for the Mets, even though he hasn't played for them since like 2003.
What
The
Amazing.
way baseball works is just
Their contracts are stupid, like genuinely stupid. But that's fun.
some transfers happened over the week as well. George Sancho seems has agreed terms to move to United. I don't know, has it gone through yet? It's
Jadon
recorded,
Sancho?
but
Funnily enough,
yeah, Jadon Sancho.
he
Yeah,
would have pushed that
85
through
million.
so much earlier if he knew that's what it took to get an England team. That's
Yeah,
Well, that's what Southgate said. Southgate apparently said that since his transfer went through, he's just looked so much better in training.
that's weird.
So that's why he got a starting spot tonight.
How much training have they done since the last game?
I
Like,
would
genuinely.
assume, probably take a day off for recovery. Well,
Yeah.
maybe not even.
Yeah, like
I
Like-
suppose with the game so close together, you would have to take the day off
Yeah.
for recovery, and then you train every
whole
day
day up,
between
but
them.
like
Yeah.
you still wouldn't like. You're not going full speed. You're going at most half speed and still not doing a whole lot.
Mhm.
Like playing an international tournament, you're playing every fucking 4 days, is just like must be horrible on your body as it is.
Yeah.
I find the Sancho one. Obviously, I'm a Liverpool fan here, so not best knowledge with United, but I feel it's an unnecessary transfer. I think about the United team, and everyone's like, all the United fans I've talked to, are like, oh, we need him. But I'm thinking there, and I look at the United team, and I see they have Rashford, they have Greenwood, Cavani, Bruno, Pogba, Martial. That's 6 players for 4 positions. They really needed the 85 on that one. I know they clearly need a defensive mid. Like, should he have been the main transfer of this window?
They've been
That's
trying to get him
fair.
for years, though.
Yeah.
But
I understand that they've been trying to get it for years, but then Greenwood has come out, and I don't know if this will hinder Greenwood's development because it's less time he'll have opportunities to get on. Or is this
to be fair though,
uh,
an offensive player who scores goals, like you don't need to like defend that well if you're scoring a lot of goals. So I can see why they're prioritizing that. You know.
I also think this is more of a get the fans on your side.
Oh, very
Yeah.
much so. Yeah.
transfer.
So who do you think will be the next? Now that the Sancho saga's over, what's going to be the next big United transfer for the next 3 years that we'll hear about and say it's coming?
Mm.
What do we reckon?
This is a difficult question because
Haaland. I'm saying it now. It's Haaland.
I mean, yeah, that's like, is that not the one that they all want? Is Erling Haaland? Ronaldo to come home.
Ah, not that again.
Oh, I
He's
love
going
that
to
man
Spurs.
so
I've already called it.
much. Himself
Speaking-
and Messi to link up at Spurs.
That's it. I know we were touching on Messi there. Did you hear during the week that his team in Brazil offered Messi a contract?
Absolutely
The worst team in Brazil.
Sure, look,
Have
you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Yeah, I
That's it.
know.
But did you hear the contract offer? They put out the points on Twitter. They showed the contract, and here are some of the clauses. 15-year contract starting from July 1st, 2021. Salary based on productivity, brackets, if he deserves it.
Solid.
He cannot score many goals.
Fair.
He cannot become a champion. He cannot wear the number 10 shirt, retired in honor of Mario Shampoo. He must swear 3 times in front of the mirror that Pele is much better than Maradona.
I don't know why he didn't jump at that.
Yeah. They need photographic proof that that he does that every day.
That's it. Video. He needs to have the video of him doing it.
He has to have today's newspaper every day to prove that it's not just yesterday's video again. No, that's an interesting one.
That just reminds me of a nice story of Mark Hughes when he was manager of City and the takeover happened. And apparently he said he was discussing, they were in the rooms, they were talking to the others, they were discussing who they were going to bring in. They were saying the likes of Yaya Toure, Aguero, and they're naming all this. And Mark Hughes apparently said, "This is getting all a bit messy." And Saudi guy was like, yes, we'll get him too. Put him on the list. And Mark was like, "I didn't set it, but okay. Put in an offer."
That's insane.
I meant to bring this up during the news and completely forgot until you started talking about Messi's contract. But in Formula 1, did you see Lewis Hamilton has extended his contract with Mercedes for another 2 years?
Has he?
Yeah,
that's very big.
Mercedes domination, you would think.
I haven't watched Formula 1 in years. Me and my dad used to be big fans of it. We used to watch back in the times of Schumacher and when it was Ferrari dominating.
Yeah, that's very fair. My knowledge is all off of the documentary.
Yeah,
Drive to Survive.
I
think
started getting into it now after I've started watching
it's
that.
solid.
It's fantastic.
Fun thing, there are only 3 people from Finland that I know. Sami Hyypiä, Timo Pukki, and Kimi Räikkönen are the 3 people I know that are Finnish. I don't know anyone else.
No, the greatest ever football player. Hang on, what's his name again? Oh, the guy who plays for Motherwell, the goalkeeper from the phone call 20 years ago. Oh, what the fuck's his name?
I don't know where.
Hang on.
Is it Yuski Eskilhainen?
No.
I think he's Finnish. That's
he
4.
is. Yeah. Hang on. Where is it's? That's it. Antti Niemi. He played.
Niemi.
Yeah, Antti Niemi.
Ah.
He played. There's this amazing. You can look it up on YouTube. This amazing phone call from like a Scottish radio station. They were talking about players who didn't get into the Scottish team in like 2003, I think, something like that. And this lad rings in. He's like, we've got this player in the squad, and we've got that player in the squad. They know we exist, but I can't understand how Antti Niemi's not getting into the squad. They're like, Niemi, the goalkeeper. Aye, well, he's Finnish. He's not finished. He's only 28.
That's a classic.
I don't know if it's a setup, but it's brilliant.
Oh dear. He's one of those old OG Premier League players.
You see Jääskeläinen or Antti Niemi?
Yeah, Niemi, Jääskeläinen's another one. Mort Gabs Pedersen. Streets will never forget.
I want to get like a retro Blackburn shirt with that on the back. Oh my god, he was phenomenal. Always a fan of his.
That could be another segment. Obviously, I'll let you lead it because I'm banned Great
He'll
segment.
somehow squeeze Lucky Me over.
I will make sure to make another
Man
Yock and
holiday
Blow.
in Shrewsbury for 2 weeks back in 2004.
We are having a segment called Sniff Watch.
Like, surely every time Germany plays, they just have a camera on him to catch all the scratching sniffs. They have to.
I'd like to think that the publishers make sure that they don't. Or has angled them into places where they can't be seen as well.
They should do. I'm sure they do. It's the same way that they had a camera on. Was it Emil Heskey when he moved to Australia? Started playing in Australia, and whoever was showing the matches had Heskey cam, and it was just one camera for the entire game was just focused on Emil Heskey.
That's amazing.
You could pay to just watch Heskey cam instead of the actual match.
Surely, actually, I was just thinking about it there. Surely, instead of having this Heskey camp, surely the German national team could have taken a leaf out of the NFL and get like a pullback coach, but just for Jurgen Lozan's.
Just to pull back the hand.
Jurgen Lozan's just to pull it back as he goes for it.
That's just weird, because that's him putting his hand in his trousers and someone then taking his hand out of his own trousers. Surely that's just weird. If they just tie his belt too tight, then he's got some access.
We talked about this.
I feel like that.
They'll find a way.
Man, he just chastity belt.
Like, I'm just saying, this segment, we've talked about him most this entire night. We haven't talked about the rest.
That doesn't make it
much.
right.
No,
Doesn't
They're talking
mean it's
about it
wrong.
we talked
because it
about
was a
Goran
joke.
Pandev quite a bit as well. To be fair,
That's because he
Yeah,
was
that's-
amazing.
He must not. You know what, Keith? Since we're talking about that, I will like you for next week. Come up with a Goran Pandev or show me the Goran Pandev chant.
Oh no, I'm not artistic enough with music to create a chant. That's not my.
it's easy, Keen. You just go one Goran Pandev. There's only one Goran
One.
Pandev.
At number 1 is Goran Pandev. At number
We all
2.
dream of a team of Goran Pandevs.
There we go. Done. Oh, maybe we should have Pandev watch. Let's just update every week on
Pandev
what
watch.
Pandev's done for the week.
Who does he even play for?
I've looked this up and I cannot remember for the life of me.
Was he had a stint at Inter, didn't he?
I'll tell you now.
Pretty sure he had a
Yes,
stint at Inter.
He did have a stint at Inter. He's currently at Genoa.
Mm.
Was he there during the Mourinho years? Or was he
No.
just after?
Oh,
he was,
yeah.
He had 2 stints.
He did, yeah. He was there
Yeah.
from 2001 to 2004, but he spent the last 2 seasons of that out on loan, and then he was there from 2009 to 2012.
Mm.
That the Inter years? I cannot remember the Mourinho years that.
I also have no idea.
So funny how long ago it is.
Well, and it's
Alright.
122 caps though for North Macedonia. Just looking up there, just kind of figured I'd share that.
Only 38 goals, though.
Aye, but that's because he's played for fucking North Macedonia.
20
it'll be
years,
interesting to see.
20
He's played
years
nothing
he's
but
been in the
teams that's
senior
better
squad.
than them.
That's actually really impressive.
It will be interesting to see if you can get the stat how many international goals did North Macedonia actually have.
I mean, yeah.
He's the same age as Fernando Torres.
So I
Not
wasn't
as
a
tough.
million miles away of Torres realistically. Like, yeah, it still wasn't realistic him still playing for Spain, considering that he was terrible the last time I watched him play. But
That's
you know,
fair.
that was one of the.
In the Spanish squad, isn't there? There Pau Torres?
Yeah,
Oh, maybe, yeah, that sounds familiar.
there is, yeah.
I always thought Liverpool did away so well when they sold him for 50 million, because his last year for Liverpool, he was shit.
He
And he
did a
got-
lot. It was half a year he played.
Whatever. They sold him when everyone knew he was shit for 50 million, and I always respected that. I could not
That's-
believe when Chelsea bought him.
Yeah,
They spent
but
most of
then
it on
we
Andy
ruined-
Carroll then. So,
Yeah, we ruined all credibility by spending most of it on Andy Carroll. So we cannot not talk
Sure,
about
that money
that.
was spent on Andy Carroll and Luis Suarez. Most of
So
it on
Andy
but
Carroll-
Suarez,
And a
yeah, but
vampire.
wasn't the Suarez? The Suarez was no. As I said many times, that Ivanovic one. That bite. Not many people know this, but if you actually watch, there's an unedited clip. A snake managed to get onto the pitch and bite Ivanovic, and Suarez was sucking the venom out like a good sport.
That's all that it was.
That's all it was.
It's all a conspiracy.
It is. But yeah, I can't defend him for the Chiellini one. Nah, won't defend him on that one, 'cause that did happen at a Liverpool game. It was at a Uruguay game, so yeah, no
That's
loyalty there.
very fair.
Of his son trying to bite Luis Suarez when he was parading him around. He's
That
carrying his
explains
kid.
so much.
He's carrying his kid around. I think it's like the end of season walk around the pitch. And he's holding his son, and his son is trying to bite his collarbone.
How old's the child? Please don't be like 15. Just
Nah. I'd say about 1 or 2.
That's fair. Anyone else? That's just average. If you're the son of Luis Suarez, that's a bit of a concern.
He was never so proud in his life.
I think one of my favorite incidents with kids in football, I'm misremembering this story, but I think it may have been like a preseason game, like Neymar and like Messi were in the stands or something like that there for a Barcelona game or something like this with like Messi's kid. Messi's a kid, doesn't he?
At the
I think he does.
biggest expectations on a kid anyone could have.
Oh, yes. Maybe in this kid. I don't remember. But there's a kid sitting there on like one of their laps. And they conceded a goal. And the kid, who's quite young at the time, celebrates. I think Neymar is somehow involved. And Neymar just turns. You can see him just go to the child, be like, no. We don't celebrate these goals. The kid's like, goal. Yay. He's like, no, shut up.
Speaking of kids, I heard a story. Matt Hummel's son.
Oh,
When
I heard
Hummels
this as well.
apparently when Hummel scored the own goal to put France 1-0 up,
Oh, yeah.
Matt Hummel's son was apparently celebrating because he didn't understand yet. He just saw the ball go into the net and assumed
Yeah.
goal.
He saw Hummel score.
yeah.
He hadn't explained. He didn't know about own goals. Absolutely.
He learned that day.
Poor Matt Hummels can't catch a break. His family celebrate when he scores his own goals. His team leaves him at a stadium all alone.
Oh my god, yeah. I still love that story. It's one of my favorite stories. Like, who just didn't do a head count, or at what point? Like, was he in for a shower and he came out and everyone was just gone?
When the buddy system fails.
Oh my god, it's amazing.
Alright, well, I think if anyone has no one else has anything to say, do we wrap it up here?
Yeah.
I'd just like to point out that, your Joachim Love, just putting it up again was a terrible idea.
I think it was fantastic, and if any of you disagree or agree, please leave a comment. And I'm sure we'll read it out. I would be very interested to see who agrees he is the dirtiest player in football. Dirtiest person in football. Need to put that in there. Alright, and if you enjoyed us just ranting and talking absolute shite, please subscribe and leave a like. Helps the channel very much.
That's it. Pander away.
I'm sorry, I was told to sell out from our developer here.
We made it very clear from the start that we would sell out.
I was told, no, I am host today, sell out.
Alright. Goodbye, everyone. I'm not going to sell out like Mike did. Do what you want.
Wow.
Live your own lives.
You have stitched me up here, you spiteful man.
I didn't tell you to sell out. That was key.
You did!
I said to do it, and Oshin
was
agreed. That is 100%
Yeah, you
what
agreed.
happened.
You agreed.
No, I just said I didn't do it last week because I forgot. That's all.
Yeah, but you said that's fair. I should have done it, but forgot.
Yeah, that's fair. I did say that. But still, live your own lives, people. Live your own lives.
Don't be
Alright.
sheeples. Put like, comment, subscribe.
Please.
Feed
You
the
stay
algorithm.